Hello, everybody, and welcome to the 25th episode of the Gentleman's Gank podcast. I'm Jonathan.
I'm slightly disturbed.
And I'm Tim, standing in for Dominic, who isn't here. We don't know who's standing in for Tim.
I could get my dog on the line.
I could get my
He
dog
would
on the
talk
line,
about as much as me.
but my
No,
dog is
she
dead.
she would. All depending if she could actually hear you, she might get excited.
Alright, starting it off this week. China is 3D printing full apartment buildings and mansions.
So
How
3D.
is that?
I've actually heard of this concept.
It's basically a giant
A lot of
3D
this,
printer.
like a place at castle.
Yeah, and I mean, these are like real full-sized, livable buildings with structural integrity. So it basically has a giant 3D printer, and it's set up on a crane, and it pours out a combination of reused construction materials as well as concrete and something else, and it just pours out a molten stream, and it goes back on over itself 100 bajillion times, just like every other 3D printed anything. And they have built buildings, and I think, oh, what was it? Was it Iraq or a country in the Middle East has already purchased, I think it was 400 houses, and no, it was Egypt. It was Egypt, which is still in the Middle East, so my statement stands.
Oh, it's a good place to set up.
And there was
That kind of business.
yeah, and there was, well, this was in China that the company is based.
Yeah,
Um,
but I mean, for them to be matching this out for Egypt in an area like that, that's actually pretty helpful.
mhm,
It's not the best. Well, it is a lot better than some parts of Africa. It hasn't been as bothered so much by the Sahara as some other places.
yeah, and there is another country that I can't remember at this point that purchased a couple hundred mansions. So I think it's really cool. I mean, 3D printing a building. Did any of
We're
us
living in the
ever
future.
imagine that was going to happen?
No, we expected floating skateboards first.
You're right. Well, and I expected replicators first. And I mean, sure, 3D printers are sort of like replicators, but can you make food? Can it happen
Yes,
instantaneously?
yes, you can illegally download a pizza now.
Really?
Well, maybe not illegally, but there are now 3D printers that take materials that are used in baking and then turn them into actual food. Like it will slowly spread out a dough, and then it will then compress it, and then slowly pour out tomato sauce, then pour out cheese, then drop toppings on top of it, and then bake it,
Okay.
all without you having to touch it. It's you can 3D print a pizza now.
Now my question is, can I go up to a 3D printer and say tea, Earl Grey, hot, and get it right then?
Um, I wouldn't be surprised if Keurig wasn't in the process of doing that.
You're probably right. Keurig probably is. All right. Any questions on that, Tim?
No, no. I mean, I'm excited.
I'm
I've
excited.
already known about
Sounds
the
about right.
technology for 3D printing for buildings, but for it to go full scale on actual livable buildings, that's really exciting.
Yeah. So, and if any of y'all are interested, I do have access to a 3D printer at my workplace. Hooray!
Hooray!
You have
Guess
a
who
3D printer there now?
can't do any CAD drawings? That's me.
Man, if only you
Uh,
knew someone who could do something like that.
Yeah, it's a shame that I don't have any friends.
it's bad enough you have only podcast mates.
Yeah, yeah. And I do not consider y'all friends. Not
Oh, good to
after
know.
all the crap I get from y'all. You drive me to drink.
Hey, to be fair, we don't give you as much shit as Dominic gives you shit.
That is true. And he is a friend. Quote unquote. Staying in the science line of things, scientists have developed a way to unboil eggs.
Yeah, I
I'm
heard about
deeply
that.
disturbed about this.
Yeah, it's really ugh. They've figured out a way to change the solids back into their standard protein forms, all
No, it
folded up, and
still
then
can't
they
hatch
unfold
anything,
them.
correct?
No,
There's no way they could fix that.
no.
Thank God.
They
I would be
sorry.
deeply terrified.
Let
Still
me
can't
let me
what?
fix that. They still can't do that yet.
We didn't think this was possible until a few days ago.
Yeah. Yeah, basically they put it through a machine and then they put it through another machine and then they use a machine that unravels the protein strands that have been tangled during boiling, and then it's back to being an unboiled egg. The,
That
the important bit of this is that they're hoping that they can use it to cure cancer, same as everything else. But they're
we're able
actually
to build 3D printers over in Egypt that can build buildings. Let's use it to fix cancer.
yeah, basically everything. And actually, honestly, they are 3D printing human body parts for every purpose. There was actually, we skipped it a couple weeks back, but there was a topic I meant to touch on where a girl was saved by the quick 3D printing of a heart for her. And it was the first time ever that this has happened. That they were already 3D printing a heart, and it just so happened to be her blood type, and they were close enough to completion that they finished it, shocked it into life, stuck it in her, and she's alive now. Or still not dead.
I can think of many worse stories from medical testing history.
Yeah,
You mean like dementia?
she's got dementia.
Stop Dementia 2015. You heard it here first.
Moving on, it has been reported that the very first self-destructing book is here.
Destroy
This
after
note
reading.
will burn. This note will spontaneously combust after reading.
Mm-hmm. And there is actually only one book. There,
So far.
yeah.
So far.
There's, well, yeah.
I mean,
There's,
they still gotta work out the legality of having a book spontaneously combust.
no. It's actually all been figured out. There
Where it's
is
not you can't get sued for that.
no. It's purchased, and they had they have a SWAT team standing by, and I don't remember exactly how long you have to read it. I think you have like 3 hours, 4 hours, or something. It's a James Patterson book,
Oh.
and if you don't read it by the end of that, or if you do read it after a certain 24 hours, Private Vegas. So during 5 days, you can get a digital copy, or there is one real copy, real physical copy, that you have 24 hours to read until the book self destructs. and then it's gone. It lights on fire or it explodes. They haven't really figured out how that's going to work, but they've already figured out that the SWAT team needs to be there. The legality has already been figured out. So, yeah.
I'm still waiting for someone to get hurt in some bizarre way.
Oh, it's going to happen. But there is only one book that's going to be made that's actually physical. The other books are
Okay.
just digital copies that it deletes itself.
I really want it to be released on March 31st so you can have an April 1st news story about a book self-immolating.
I would like that. I would definitely like that. But I mean, I guess I shouldn't be too surprised that this is the first time. But at the same time, I am a little surprised it's the first time we've had a book that can spontaneously combust after a certain period of time. It just seems like something that may have already existed, but it's just never been done for safety reasons.
But the concept of a self-destructing book is not new. First of all, it's
No,
existed throughout spy literature forever.
especially in spy literature. I'm
Yeah.
sure James Bond has dealt with something that spontaneously combusted.
But
Spontaneously combustion.
Spontaneously combusted.
spontaneously. Um, 23 years ago, a cyberpunk novelist, William Gibson, published a poem, Agrippa, A Book of the Dead, on a 3.5-inch disc stuffed into the hollow out pages of a handmade art book. So when you ran the disc on a Mac computer of the era, the poem scrolled uncontrollably across the screen and then encrypted.
That's amazing.
And so you had to read it as it scrolled, so all Super Mario World style. You can't stop it scrolling. And then it encrypted itself in an encryption that, as of 2012, was still not unencrypted. Which, you think, as of 3 years ago, there still wasn't an unencryption for a 23-year-old or 20-year-old at that point encryption. How? Also, teach me. The NSA probably already has it. Oh, wait, they're not actually good at an encryption.
No, they're just good at re-encrypting things.
Yeah. So, but I think it's neat that the one-time self-destructing book. That's pretty cool. I wouldn't want to have it because my hands are afraid of fire. Namely, being on. Everything else is good. Pierre,
Yep.
do you know anything about King Tut's burial mask being broken?
Not much. Just that some idiot decided to go and some idiot when they were cleaning the mask ended up damaging it.
The only thing I have to add to that, besides really,
I mean, it's thousands of years old.
yes, but
It
but
was going to break.
eventually,
It's.
but seriously, really, really,
I mean, this isn't the first time I'm sure that we've had an issue of someone accidentally damaging a piece of history.
Sphinx nose.
I'm pretty sure that was actually done intentional. There's some historical meaning behind some mystery behind that.
Yes, but the the all right, the intentional was not at the time of creation.
No, it just
Yeah,
happened to fall shortly after,
well, yeah,
or the other way around.
yeah. Moving on. Oh no,
Yeah.
actually, staying on this topic, the way that they fixed it was just terrible. Uh,
Is it any better than the than how they fixed the second Mona Lisa?
The second Mona Lisa?
The Mona Lisa has a sister painting that was in a much worse condition than the original Mona Lisa. If you look it up, you'll be so disgusted by how poorly done the cleaning of this painting was done, and the retouching was, because it went from looking like a Da Vinci painting into looking something like it was modern art.
Huh. Well, no, that's not the way I was thinking. Basically what happened is the mustache fell off. Sorry, the beard fell off. The weird little pokey out beard for King Tut's burial mask. And the way
Mm.
they fixed it was with a big, big glob of epoxy.
Oh,
It'll stay. It won't come off anymore. But it's clearly visible.
Good job.
I don't know if y'all have worked with like real epoxy before, but it's so visible.
okay. I found it wasn't a Mona Lisa. It wasn't the sister painting of Mona Lisa. It was the retouching of a Jesus painting.
All right, that's what you're talking about. Okay,
Yeah,
I am
you know which
familiar
one I'm
with
talking about.
that. I'm not familiar with a Mona Lisa sister.
There is a sister painting which was actually professionally retouched that actually makes adds a lot of more depth to the original Mona, to how the original Mona Lisa actually is that you didn't see.
Yeah. But yeah, the woman who destroyed the church's Jesus painting.
Oh my goodness, how do you live after that? How do you
Yeah,
live with yourself?
she turned it into a monkey. And actually, I said that looking at it, and I actually just looked it up. Its
Mm.
title has been changed to Ecce Homo, meaning behold the man, to Ecce Mono, and this is the actual title change of the piece, the legitimate title change, meaning behold the monkey.
Oh, that's hilarious. Oh my goodness.
Oh, it's mm, that's just terrible, and it really looks terrible.
This
the
was a bad idea. This was a bad idea. I died.
The painting before, as destroyed as it is, looks way better than the quote unquote fixed painting. Oh, ugh. I no. Continuing in our line of real life news, um, there's a upcoming Super Bowl ad. This is Bud Light Super Bowl ad, and I think we can
Oh,
pretty much all agree that the Super Bowl commercials are all across the board pretty much amazing.
I mean,
They fail every once in a while, but
yeah.
for the most
I mean,
part,
yeah. Well, it all depends on how. It depends on the teams. If it's a big set of teams that are going into the Super Bowl, you're almost guaranteed great commercials.
hmm
There was the year with what was it? It was like it was the Patriots against the Raiders or something, or the Pirates. I don't remember who. And nobody watched that game, so no. What there were no really great, spectacular ads.
hmm
But that isn't to say that this year isn't going to be a big game with the Seahawks in. Seahawks have been bringing a lot of attention since they haven't really won Super Bowls until this past pretty much decade.
yeah.
So I expect some really good Super Bowl ads. So what is to be seen from this year's Super Bowl ads from Bud Light?
Bud Light's Super Bowl ad is and I like the way they do this. It sends a clear message: drink beer, be chased by ghosts. Or maybe it's drink beer, have a lot of strangers touch you. No, no, it's probably drink beer, then run around a ton and don't throw up. Or just Pac-Man is still awesome. This has been brought to you by Joystick. Yes, Bud Light, their
Oh my
commercial is a
goodness.
real life Pac-Man.
I love this. This is a great concept. I'm looking forward to this so much now.
And I will give you a link to this down in the description below, and you can go look at it yourself. We do not promote underage drinking, but if you're of the age of consent, or if you just want to watch this commercial and not go drinking afterwards, then
Well, to be fair, you
definitely.
wouldn't want to go drinking Bud
Well,
Light no
that's
matter
true.
what,
I,
so
I like quality beer. Speaking of which, I need to drink a little bit more.
I'm out of eggnog in my glass anyway. I could go get some more, but we're in the middle of
Do you,
the
no, no, no,
podcast.
no. I have to ask you. Do you mean eggnog or virgin eggnog?
I'm talking real eggnog. This has got the rum and everything.
Good job, man. I approve. I greatly approve.
Now, this isn't homemade eggnog per se, but it's
That is
still
fine.
homemade eggnog.
That is fine. It's still fine if you buy the store bought virgin eggnog and you correct it.
I mean, that's
That's
just how
acceptable.
most people do it in this day and age. Anyway, let's get
Yeah.
back to the podcast.
All right, continuing it on, and I believe this is the last section for this podcast. Continuing in the Super Bowl theme, we have a prediction of who's winning between the Patriots or the Seahawks. In result, Patriots beat Seahawks 28-24 thanks to 4
No,
touchdowns from
don't.
Super Bowl MVP Tom Brady.
No,
Brought to
don't say
you
it
by
isn't. Say it
Madden.
isn't so. Say it isn't so.
Brought to
Who?
you by Madden NFL. That's right. EA Sports. It's in the
It's in the
game.
game.
Yes, there is.
Now, is this based on the game's built engine and then running two CPUs against one another?
I believe so. It was the latest version of EA Sports, Madden NFL, and they tried to see who would win. And I'm pulling it up now. This was actually run by EA Sports. This is not another group, and they did not say specifically how they did it, but
Based on their game engine, this is the result that they received.
yes, this is what their prediction is. So
Now, I'm going to wait until the Achievement Hunters play. And if it's the same result, then I will believe it. Even if the score isn't the same, that's what I'm going to go based on.
yep.
Because has Madden ever been wrong? Has EA ever been wrong about these predictions? Or
I don't know. I haven't been keeping track. I mean, I
I'll
don't
have to do
even
some
watch
more.
the Super Bowl. Half the time, I don't even watch the commercials. I don't think the past 3 years I have at all watched the commercials. So I can't really tell you. But that's up for this episode, and we'll see you next time. This has been Jonathan.
Pierre?
And Dominic, and definitely not Tim.
Good night,
Alright.
everybody.
Good night.
See you.
Bye.
Bye.